make it so much gentler on the tires has kind of had sort of like that inverse, and we've seen it with the Red Bull too. They have a difficult time getting temperature into the tires, getting them into the right window, sometimes in qualifying,
The Ferraris
and
and the
that
Red Bulls.
that caught
Yeah.
them out. Yeah, that caught them out, right?
Well, it was that, but also, I mean, okay, so the grid is messed up. I blame that all on the weather. There was a massive amount of track evolution throughout qualifying yesterday. Now, in Q2, Ferrari, and I'm going to come back to a point you made a couple of weeks ago on this, but Ferrari had to get a little cute with their strategy. It was calling for rain to hit at some point towards the end of Q2. So everyone's thinking, okay, these first laps are potentially going to be the ones on soft tires that are actually going to set the times. Ferrari put new boots on both cars, went out, set their times. The rain didn't end up coming in Q2. So when everyone went back out and the track was evolving like crazy, Ferraris had used boots. And I think that's exactly like that. That was their issue. That's why they're not in Q2. The point that you made a couple of weeks ago
Or
when you're
Q3. Yeah.
yeah, well, they're out in Q2.
Yeah.
The point you made a few weeks ago, when your car's slow, you kind of have to. That's when it looks like you have bad strategies and you make
Yeah.
mistakes.
That's
Their car
no,
was
that's true.
slow.
Yeah, that's true. Like that. So okay, well, we might as well talk about Ferrari then, starting in 11 P11 P12.
Mm-hmm.
Do do you think that there's some value there? Like, do we are we looking potentially to see them move up the order? Or are you kind of like writing them off because you just think that they're not as quick as the cars that are ahead of them, and that's why they didn't get through to Q3.
So, great question. When we started this show 2 years ago, this was the exact scenario that we were looking for, hoping for. Oh, a fast team has some poor luck, poor decisions in qualifying. They're out of position. Can we find value on them to move upwards? I think the most value, I know you hate both two car bets, but the most value to start is okay, they're out of the points. Where does the book, where do the lines see them? Do they see them in the points? Well, yeah, they very much do. Minus 250. I'm not sure that there's value
250.
on that.
No, I don't think that's not a good enough price. That's way
No.
too short, right? Way too short.
And then if you look from them to go from 11 and 12 all the way up into P6, which means they've got to get one of the Mercedes. We can talk about whether Danny Ricciardo stays there or not. I don't
Yeah.
know if I don't think both of them get to the 6. So to answer your question more directly, I'm not sure there is value on Ferrari, unfortunately.
What can you look at both cars top six finish?
Mm-hmm. You
Just
think they
let's.
could
I
get that
kind of want to
high?
see. No, no, no. I want to see what the odds makers are setting that at.
Like
Yeah,
they're
so it's
saying it's
plus two
very
seventy five.
unlikely as well.
Yeah, and you can see that the no, the inverse of that is minus 400 too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now
okay,
that's for both of them. It's likely one of them gets in.
yeah,
Like Albon probably falls out of the points.
yeah. I mean that. What? Okay, from a strategy perspective. Okay, let's take a step back. It's going to be wet today, right? Like it's rain. It's been raining. I think overnight. It's going to be.
So they've been saying that. I did check the weather this morning, and again we can't. Uh oh, we've lost your camera. I don't know if you're there. To finish my thought, it's off the OBS. I'm waiting to see if we lose you on the YouTube side. Yeah, you're gone. I don't know. I can hear you. Um. Hmm. Okay. Talk to myself. Your audio, your audio is here. Okay. We can't bet on the weather. Anyways, I looked at the weather. It's not 100%, and it's around 2 o'clock. It's like 1 millimeters coming down. So yeah, weather might come down, but I don't think it's going to be a full wet, extreme wet race. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dan and Mario back in the chat. Mario, were you here last week? Super Mario, were you the one that said classified finishers and it won in 30 seconds into the race? I'd really like to get your camera. This is like behind the scenes troubleshooting. I don't know what to do about it. Is your Ninja link still open? Did you close anything? Mm. I'm gonna try just reapplying it. Well, okay. While I'm doing this, start thinking and look at Checo because Checo is another one. Didn't even make Q2. So he starts in 16th. Him to be in the points, I did jot down. It was minus 138. Not saying I love it. I did not put a star on it, but it's better than minus 250. He he should love Canada. It's a stop and go track that typically favors Checo. I mean, this brings me back to our very first when we were like, "Hey, let's do an F1 betting podcast," and we were big on Checo. It was a wet race in Canada, and he crashed in turn one, right? Like, okay, let me bring you something that you might actually like. Start mentally comparing. We've got Lewis in 7th, Fernando Alonso in 6th, Ricardo in 5th. There's a couple of things that I think are interesting here. Ricardo has great odds to stay there if you think he could potentially stay in the top 6. There's also an interesting line for both Mercs to not be in the top 6 at plus money. Now, those are along the same line of thinking that maybe Lewis doesn't get into the top 6. There's also a Lewis 6th or worse for minus 120. I should be showing all these, but full cards on the table, people. The Mike's camera not working. We cannot hear Mike. Can't hear Mike. Okay. No, I can hear you, but they can't. So we're gonna guys, Dan and Mario, you guys are here. Love it.